focus on these 10 tips from a real world contractor that set up over 500 short-term rentals. The gurus have it wrong for the most part. And most of that is because they've never actually done this before. They've never actually rolled up their sleeves. They've never replaced a floor. They've never fixed a squeaky toilet. At STR Cribs, we've done all of that stuff for years. And so we've compiled a list of the highest ROI renovations that we believe you should focus on when setting up your next short-term rental or Airbnb property. The first one, and what I believe is one of the highest ROI renovations you can do, is a paint package. Many of the gurus I've seen are recommending to go with neutral colors. They're a little bit easier to maintain, not as expensive to paint. My recommendation is actually quite the opposite. I would go with bright, bold, beautiful colors that are gonna stop the scroll and get people interested in your listing and really make that property stand out. I would also consider doing a couple of things. Accent walls, you can use wallpaper. If you use wallpaper, don't use peel and stick. In most markets, it doesn't last more than a couple months, especially when you have those high humidity markets like Florida. You're just gonna see the corners peel off and it's not gonna look good and you're constantly gonna have to repair it. I would recommend using real wallpaper. Have a handyman or a licensed general contractor like us handle the installation so that it lasts for years to come. The next thing I would consider is doing custom murals. You can hire a local artist to come paint custom murals in your home. This is really gonna be a way to stand out. I believe all of this falls under that paint category because you're putting paint on the walls. And then I would look at painting other items in the home. A bathroom vanity that has an old out-of-date cabinet, you could maybe paint that cabinet, spend a few $100s making it look nice, new, clean, versus replacing that vanity that might cost you a few $1,000s. So there's some great ideas outside of just painting the walls. You can paint trim, you can paint doors, you can paint cabinets, but paint, make it look new, make it colorful, make it bold, and make your property pop in those listing photos. The number 2 renovation tip that I would recommend is a little bit bold and crazy, but most of you are already installing bunk beds in your property because you know the value of heads and beds. The more guests you can accommodate, the higher your nightly rate's gonna be, the better your occupancy is gonna be. But I see a lot of people buying cheap IKEA, Wayfair bunk beds. They come in 1,000 pieces. They're wobbly and shaky. No one actually wants to sleep on that top bunk because it's too close to the ceiling. They're terrible just all around, and I think that they're a thing of the past. I would recommend investing some money into custom built-in bunk beds. Something like this that we've done before with really cool slides. Not only can you sleep more people in these bunk beds, usually we're getting anywhere from 4 to 5 in these bunk beds, sometimes as many as 6, but they're sturdy, they're reliable, and then if you add some fun stuff like a slide or a cool stair set or a little built-in nook that's kind of a game room hiding area for kids, you're gonna end up with a really cool amenity as well that is gonna stand out and help you drive ROI. The third is a little bit more market specific and property specific, but I would recommend a large deck space. That big deck energy. Let's go. Build a big deck where your guests can spend time, they can barbecue in the summer. If you have sunset views or beautiful views of the mountains or beautiful city views, whatever it is, capitalize on that by building a big deck, well furnishing it, also using that space to add outside amenities. So if I have a large deck that I've built, I can put a hot tub or a barrel sauna out there. And I'm also adding square footage to my home for people that are on vacation. And so maybe I have a smaller property that's only 1,000 or 1,500 square feet, and it feels a little bit cramped with 6, 8, 10 guests, but I have a great backyard space and I can build a big, beautiful deck. And so I would highly recommend considering, if your property's set up for it, building a beautiful deck, making it large. Don't build a small little deck. Make it a big deck, add some amenities like a hot tub or barrel sauna, get some great seating, do a barbecue out there, and make it an experience for your guests. Number 4, I'm usually telling people don't renovate bathrooms, don't renovate kitchens. There's no ROI on that. It's not gonna drive more revenue. Your short-term rental guests don't care. However, there's a caveat to that. If you have bathrooms or kitchens that are absolutely hideous, it's going to be a turnoff for guests. If the rest of your home looks amazing and is bright and colorful and modern and updated, and your kitchen looks like it did in the 70s and has mismatched appliances, has ugly cabinets, has terribly hideous backsplash, it's gonna be a turnoff and it is gonna affect your revenue on the property. And so I would not ever recommend, in most cases, a full kitchen renovation, but I would recommend bathroom and kitchen refreshes. And what I mean by that is a fresh coat of paint, replacing the backsplash, maybe some new light fixtures, and potentially a new appliance package. That can go a long way to really improving the look and the feel of your kitchen without costing you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Consider bathroom and kitchen refreshes, not whole remodels. Number 5, let's dive into additional bedrooms. If you have a 3-bedroom that has extra space in the home, whether that be a garage, maybe there's a formal dining room, maybe there's an office, maybe there's an attic space. If there's extra square footage in the home, adding bedrooms is always going to benefit you from a revenue perspective. And oftentimes, if you do it already in the home, it's not as expensive. If you think about doing a bedroom addition to a property where you have to add electrical and the foundation and pull a permit and do the framing and adjust the roof line and do all these things, it could be really, really expensive to add an extra 500 or 600 square feet to your property and might not make that additional bedroom worth it. However, if I can find square footage already in the home, like a additional formal dining room or an office space or a bonus room or a loft that's unfinished, and I can frame that in and throw a door on it and make it a legal 4th bedroom, boom, that's some of the best money you can spend in a renovation for an Airbnb property. So consider adding bedrooms, do it strategically. Oftentimes it's not worth it to add an extra 500-600 square feet to a home in an addition, but if you have that square footage already in the home, convert it to bedroom space. Number 6, this is gonna come in handy when you are managing the property and when you're dealing with guest experience, is smart home package. So consider your smart locks, outdoor cameras, noise detectors in the home, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors. These are some great safety features, but they also make it really convenient for your guest when you're doing check-in and check-outs. And so I would make sure that you've got a smart home package on the property that you can easily change the door code, get guests in and out, make sure that your property is being well taken care of and you've got all the safety features for your guests. Make sure that you look into the rules and regulations. Obviously, most online platforms like Airbnb and VRBO are not going to let you have cameras in the house. You'd never want to do that anyways. Your guests wouldn't even feel comfortable in your home. A lot of times you can't have cameras in the backyard, but having a Ring doorbell camera or a camera on the driveway, those can be great ways to see if a guest is coming or going. Always consider a smart home package. This does not cost tens of thousands of dollars. It's a couple $1,000 invested in your home, and it's going to make your life so much easier from a property management perspective and let you sleep comfortably and have some peace in knowing that you've made sure that your guests are safe and that you can check on your property. My 7th tip is replacing out-of-date floor, specifically carpet. Most of the time when we come in to renovate a property, the carpet is old, it's nasty, it's grandma's shag carpet, it's got cat and dog piss stains on it. Get rid of that carpet, put LVP in the home, make it match throughout the house. It's easy to lay down, it's inexpensive, it's waterproof, it's dog-proof, it's scratch-proof, it's kid-proof. It's just an overall great flooring to have in your property. It photographs and looks really well, comes in all different colors. You can match it to the theme of your home. It's gonna cost you $5 to $15 a square foot, depending on where you do it and how you do it, but it's gonna be one of those renovations that has great ROI. It makes your life easier when you're managing the home. It limits your damage on carpet and floors, and it just looks so much nicer in photos. Number 8 is actually one of kind of my favorites, and it's something that's kind of thinking outside the box that most people don't talk about, and that is adding amenities into your extra space in your home. We had just taken a master closet that was an 8x8 closet. It was a big closet, but it was awkwardly placed in the home. Guests would never use it to store their stuff, and we turned it into a really cool arcade nook, and boom, now you've got an arcade room in this property that you wouldn't have had before, and you have a game room that's a fun amenity for people to use. And that's just one example of how you can take extra square footage in the property and turn it into amenities. Do you have an attic that's unfinished? That could make a great movie theater room. Do you have a garage that you're not going to utilize for your guests? Maybe convert it into a game room, arcade room. There's all kinds of ideas for what you can do with this extra space in your home. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for what you should do in that space, but you should certainly do something to help your home stand out out and maximize your revenue. So I'd recommend looking within the home, finding that extra square footage, even if it's unfinished space, like a basement, an attic, and consider turning that into a fun amenity that your guests can enjoy while they're at your property, creating lasting memories, increasing your occupancy, increasing your bookability when someone's scrolling through and they see your home has a huge game room in the basement and all the other properties just have a dark, dreary basement that they're not going to use. Diving into number 9, amenitize that property, guys. Amenitize it. Came up with that word. I'm trademarking it. But what can you do with your outside space? When you look on the outside of your property, what do you have to work with? Do you have a 2-acre lot? Do you have a couple 1,000 square foot lot? What do you have that you can work with and then maximize that for amenities? Not all of us can fit a pickleball court in our backyard, but if you have the space, you might want to consider doing that. Amenities is one of the top things that you should be doing when renovating your property. Don't add a clawfoot bathtub and don't add some of these things these other gurus are talking about. You're not going to see a $10,000 increase in revenue in year 1 by having that, but you certainly will if you have a hot tub in your backyard. And so consider what those market specific amenities are. Get those installed in your backyard. And then my last and probably the most valuable tip I can leave you with, especially if you're new in the short-term rental industry, is think about what you need in order to manage the property well over the life of owning this home and what is going to make your life or your property manager's lives so much easier. And so my first tip is an owner's closet with a smart lock on. It's great to have only your cleaners, your handyman, and you have access to it. You can store extra towels, linens, cleaning supplies, tools for working on the property. Get an owner's closet somewhere in the home. You will thank me later. It's a must-have. Number 2 that most people don't talk about is actually a guest closet. Having a closet in the home that is locked, but you have a code to that you can share with your guests if and when they need something that your property doesn't have. And so what I think about putting in a guest closet would be some extra batteries for the remote if they die, and maybe a couple extra pillows, and maybe some extra trash bags, some extra paper towels, toilet paper, things that I'm not sure my guests are going to need. They most likely won't need those things because the home is well stocked. But the last thing I want to do is have to send someone to the property to drop off 2 extra batteries if the remotes die while they're watching movies on Friday night. I'd love to be able to just say, hey guys, the closet around the corner from the primary bedroom's code is 123. You can get in there. There's extra batteries and anything else you might need. Have a guest closet. You'll thank me later on that one too. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on here is your laundry room situation. If you have a property with a high occupancy over 10 to 12 and you want to do same day turns, you're most likely going to need a double washer dryer in your property so your cleaners have enough capability and capacity to do all that laundry in between a guest checking out and a guest checking in. So make sure that your home is well set up beyond just the first guest checking in and into managing the home, guests coming and going, cleaners turning the property over, having extra towels, linens available, making sure you can do all the laundry. You'll thank me later. It will make your life as a property manager or as just an owner so much easier. So guys, that is my 10 renovation recommendations for your Airbnb property. It's totally different from what all the gurus are telling you, and there's a reason for that. They're gurus. They don't actually do the work. They talk about doing it and they tell you what you should do. At STR Cribs, we actually do the work. We're actual licensed general contractors who've set up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of short-term rentals. We've rolled up our sleeves, we've done the dirty work, and that is my 10 recommendations for how to renovate your property.